Thank you, Mr. Hoff. Thank you for your time to talk to us about Downside School. So I've a number of questions for you here. So the first one will be, because we know Downside is a Catholic school, so how do you think the Catholic traditions have shaped the education in Downside?
Yeah, thanks. Well, I think that the education is the importance of being a Catholic school is that it actually is on the principle of people doing what's best for others, and it provides an opportunity for people to grow and develop according to their unique gifts. So we see each individual pupil as somebody who has is a unique individual, and therefore we want them to grow and develop according to what their calling is. So we see it as something which is liberating to children. It allows them to succeed, to make mistakes, and to grow through the experience, and not to value them or define them on the basis of their results or their achievements. We want them to, obviously they do achieve, and they achieve great things, but that's, in a sense, that's what happens as a result of their being in a community where they're allowed to grow and develop, and to do their very best, but also make mistakes and learn from them.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, so the other question is, what type of student do you think that is the best fit for the education in Downside?
Well, I think actually, in a sense, it leads on from what I said. It's all sorts. We're not looking for a particular sort of pupil. We want pupils to be able to be themselves, and we want them to develop according to the gifts that they have. And it may be that they arrive thinking that they're particularly good in one area. We want them to develop in other areas as well, and not define themselves just by where they particularly achieve, but also contribute in other areas as well. So we have an academic curriculum, and I think what we want is that they are able to access the curriculum, but we're not selective on the basis of they must have a particular pass mark, and we're not just taking the top grades. We want people of all sorts, and we want to develop them into the unique individuals that they are.
Yeah, that's great. So for international students, especially for Hong Kong students, what kind of help can you provide to them to help them to settle into the school?
Well, each pupil will provide them with somebody who will look after them as they begin in the school. But we do provide support, language support. Again, it's based around the individual. What does the individual need? And that's, if you like, the basis of the school, is to ensure that each individual does receive the support they need at that particular moment. The international pupils are given whatever support is required, but we have 27 different nationalities represented here, and I think the other side of it is, one of the things we recognise is how valuable is the contribution of our international pupils. So in a sense, it's both ways round. It's about they're seeing what they can contribute to our school, and it's about giving them the confidence so that they know the way around, and that they feel it's their home. And as I say, I think there's a big emphasis on support where it's needed, and recognising where that need is, and also developing pupils' independence, so that they develop that resilience as well, and they develop the relationships with those around them. So it's very much, we're not a big school, 365 pupils. So it's not possible really to be anonymous here at Downside. So everybody plays their part, and that's what we're trying to develop, and we will provide the support for people to feel, for pupils to feel confident, so that they are achieving their best.
Okay. So regarding co-curriculum activities. I know Downside is very strong in sports. So what kind of sports are particularly very strong in for students to participate in?
Well, we have a real wide variety. I mean, traditionally, for the boys, rugby has been a very strong sport at the school, but there are all sorts of other sports as well. For girls, they play hockey and netball, and tennis is a very strong sport, and the boys also play hockey. But there's all sorts of other sports, and basketball is one that more and more people are involved in now. And we had badminton and table tennis and cross-country running. And as I say, I've missed out loads of sports. There's lots of activities beyond, where canoeing and archery and so on. So there's lots and lots of sporting activities. But again, we excel also in music. In fact, that's a very, very strong part of what's on offer here.
I see.
And there are so many different activities that pupils can be involved in, and in fact, we really need them to be involved in, because as a small community, they get the chance to contribute and enjoy the sport, even if or any activity, even if they've never tried it before, they can learn it. And that's
great to know.
Yes, and there's no imperative for people to have tried a sport before, or any other activity before. What we want is just a willingness to take part. So there are lots of opportunities.
Okay. So the next part is about the wellness and safety of the students, because I know that this is at the paramount concern of the schools, but parents in Hong Kong are not very familiar with the concept of pastoral cares. So would you please explain to them what this concept is about?
Well, I mean, I think what's you've said it. Paramount importance is the wellness of each individual pupil, and their safety and their the fact that they are growing in confidence and thriving. Now that means that it's a bit. I've sort of said before. It is about developing the unique individual that they are, and responding to their needs. Now we have really strong pastoral support here in terms of staff support for pupils. So there's a housemaster, a housemistress who's responsible for each of the boarding houses in which they will be. They also each have a tutor. So they're in a smaller group, overseen and supported by a tutor. They have other pastoral staff within the boarding houses as well. We call them house parents, who provide extra support. We have a health centre, we have a school counsellor, we have a chaplaincy team who looks after them, also who provides spiritual support, and just general interaction between the pupils and adults who are taking an interest and ultimately know them. So therefore they take an interest in not just in their academic studies, but just in their overall well-being. And they notice if something is not going right. They also will support them when they're going, whether they're going well or not going well, and we respond to that. And as I said before, it's also about making sure that you are looking after those who are in need at that particular time, because I think the rest of the community, when they can see that if somebody needs help, they're getting the help, they actually feel supported, because they know that if they need the help, they'll get the help. So sometimes it's not about saying to each, saying, I'm going to spend 10 minutes with each pupil, or I'm going to spend a particular amount of time with each pupil. It's where you say, right, we're going to respond to where the people's needs are, and then the whole community feels supported because they know. And sometimes you, as a pupil, you don't need somebody sitting on your shoulder saying, get on with this, get on with that, because actually you can do it yourself. And in fact, you learn the independence through doing that. But if you know that when support is needed, you'll get it, and that there's enough adults around, there are prefects, there are other pupils, your peer group. There's very much a sense here at Downside where everybody looks out for each other, and they will seek out help for their friends if they can see that they need that.
Yeah.
But as I say, it's about making sure that you're looking after the individual people.
Yeah, there's an extra benefit of a smaller communities.
It is, exactly. And I think also being a Catholic school, that's actually right at the heart of what we're doing, is providing that individual support.
Yes.
Yeah.
So final questions. Do you have any advice or tips for parents in Hong Kong who do not know how to choose the right school for their children?
Well, I would say that it's about forming a partnership with the school. I think that I think it is important to look at what the school offers, but actually to meet the people, to get a sense of the atmosphere of the school, and to form a relationship with that school, because I think it's really important that the school's in tune with your values as a family.
Yes.
Because there are lots of great schools, but I think what's most important is that it is a partnership. The family is the primary educator, and the schools support that.
Yes.
And so you need to find a school that supports you in bringing up your children in the way in which you feel fits your family values.
Yes.
And I think that you can get a sense of that through visiting the school, through people who can advise you on what does it feel like at that school, because I think that's very important, and I think that you'll get a sense of that by meeting those people who will be helping to care for your children, and get a sense of the atmosphere, of the culture of the school.
Yes.
Because I think it's really important that you feel you're able to trust those people who are looking after your children, and that they will develop their gifts. And not just see them as a commodity. I think it's very important they're not a commodity to get particular grades.
Yes.
They're children who need to grow and develop, and they need to be able to occasionally make mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And again, you need to feel that they're going to be in an environment where they're going to be forgiven, but also challenged to make sure that they do make the most of their ability, but
yes.
not in a way where they're just training them. I think education is more than that. It's about helping children to grow and develop.
Yes. So that was some very inspiring advice, actually. Yeah. So get more direct communications with the schools.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep talking to different people in the school and get the feelings of it. Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time today. Yeah. It was my honor to visit Downside School, and hopefully we can get more good students for you in the future.
Thank you, and it's a privilege to have you here. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
雙 T and Grady Production 大地海外升學